can choose to accept it or reject it based on what you hear. They're going to agree to the injury taking place, but they're going to firmly deny it's their fault. They're going to want to make you understand that this accident was unforeseeable and it was unpreventable. And as a result, they don't believe they should owe the damages that the plaintiff is going to request. Does everyone understand the battleground here? Let's go directly then to the opening statement of the plaintiff in Lubitz versus Wells.
May it please the court.
Proceed.
My name is Kriti, and along with my colleague Michelle, will represent the plaintiff in this case, Lubitz versus Wells. This was a case of negligence on the part of Jimmy Wells Jr. and his father, James Wells Sr. Your Honor, they had a duty to care for Judy, who was on their property, and they failed to do so. Judy was severely injured as a result by a golf club swung directly swung by Jimmy Wells Jr. The injuries were directly caused by the actions of Jimmy Wells Jr. Judy will tell the court exactly what happened when she was struck by the golf club and was rushed to the hospital. The Lubitz family asked for $15,000 for medical fees and $45,000 for punitive damages for the negligence that occurred on the afternoon in question. Thank you, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have a response to the opening statement?
May it please the court?
Proceed.
Your Honor, my name is Kunal Agrawal, and I, along with Kate, represent the defendant in the case of Lubitz versus Wells. Your Honor, we will prove in court today that Judy's decision to walk over to Jimmy Wells as he was swinging his golf club was risky. She did not have any knowledge of the sport, yet she still approached Jimmy Wells on the day in question. We admit that Judy Lubitz was hit by the golf club, and we admit that Jimmy swung that golf club and hit her in the face. The cause of her injury, however, is not because Jimmy swung the golf club in his own yard. It is because Judith entered Jimmy's backyard without ringing the doorbell, and she did not warn him that she was there. Jimmy will take the witness stand and describe to us what actually happened on the day in question. We will show that Jimmy Wells swung that golf club without knowing that Judy was there. We will prove that Judy ventured over the property line without ringing the doorbell at the front door. We will show that Judith came close to Jimmy, although she knew very little about golf. Your Honor, Judith Lubitz assumed a grave risk to her life because of her actions. The defense does not believe we owe any money to the Lubitz family. Before this fateful accident, Jimmy and Judith were best of friends, and we hope they can be friends again. Thank you, Your Honor. This calls Judy Lubitz.
Please raise your right hand, Judy. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter heard at the Olive Children Foundation Civil Court on the 11th of December in the year 2011 is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please take a seat. You may proceed.
May it please the court. Please state your name for the court.
Judith Lubitz.
How old are you, Judith?
I am 9 years old.
Where do you live?
13 Golfville Avenue in Darien, Connecticut.
Do you know Jimmy Wells?
Yes, we know each other very well. We've been friends for a long time.
What did you do on the afternoon in question?
I went over to Jimmy Wells' house.
Where was Jimmy when you first saw him that afternoon?
He was in his backyard.
What did you see Jimmy doing?
He was playing stone golf.
Did you say anything to Jimmy when you saw him?
Yes, I walked over to him and said hello and asked him what he wanted to do for the day.
What did you see him do when you greeted him?
He seemed to glance at me.
What is the very next thing you saw Jimmy do?
He swung the 7-iron.
What happened when Jimmy swung the 7-iron?
It struck me right on the chin.
What happened after the club hit you in the face?
I was knocked unconscious for over 3 hours.
When you awoke, where were you?
I was in Southside Hospital.
Can you tell the court how you felt when you awoke at Southside Hospital?
I was in awful pain, and my jaw and chin were numb.
Did Jimmy Wells ever warn you that he was about to swing that 7-iron?
No, he didn't say a thing.
Judith, is there anything else that you want to tell this court?
Yes. Why was Jimmy playing with his golf clubs in his backyard anyway? There are many golf courses nearby.
Judith, is there anything further that you want to tell this court?
Yes. When he swung the golf club and struck me on the chin, I was in pain. I was in pain in the hospital, and even as I sit now, I am still in pain.
Judith, what do you and your parents want this court to do about what happened to you that day in Jimmy's backyard?
We asked the Wells family to pay for my physical therapy, injuries, and to replace my 3 favorite teeth.
Judith, do you know how much your medical bill from Southside Hospital came to?
No, but my mother will surely do.
Are you and your parents asking for any punitive damages as well?
I don't know what punitive damages are, but you should ask my mom.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination? Thank you.
May I inquire?
You may inquire.
Judy, you had a choice on the day in question, that you could have rung the doorbell or walked into their backyard. Is that correct, Judy?
Yes.
You entered the backyard on the day in question. Is that a fact?
Yes.
You don't play golf at home, do you, Judy?
No.
You don't own a golf club, do you, Judy?
Nope.
So you know very little about golf. Isn't that a fact?
Not really.
So you know a golf club is dangerous?
Yeah.
And although you knew a golf club is dangerous, you still walked over to Jimmy Wells and said hello to him, didn't you?
Yes, but I didn't know he was gonna swing it.
But you knew that the golf club is very dangerous. You still walked over to him.
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that he didn't glance at you when you said hello?
I thought he glanced at me.
Well, are you sure that he glanced at you? Is it a
Yes.
fact?
He seemed to.
Or are you sure that he glanced at you?
I think so.
Well then, however, in your affidavit, you say that he did not glance at you, that you thought that he glanced at you.
Yes.
So you're not sure.
No, I'm sure. He seemed to glance at me.
We'll let the witness's testimony stand. Let the jury work it out. Proceed. We trust their judgment. Proceed.
Isn't it a fact
You're not going to get the answer you want, Counselor. Proceed.
Isn't it a fact that he didn't say hi to you?
Yeah.
Isn't it a fact that he didn't turn around to greet you?
No, but he seemed to glance at me.
Proceed. I think we've heard this already.
Is it a fact that he didn't respond to you in any way?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Redirect. Is there a redirect of this witness? Do you have any additional questions to ask this witness?
Yes.
Proceed.
Judy Lubitz. Jimmy did not greet you, right?
Yes.
But if he swung the golf club intentionally, then he wouldn't have greeted you, right?
Yes.
So there's a possibility that he might have swung the golf club intentionally, right?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any recross of this witness?
Yes. May I please the court?
Proceed.
So do you know for a fact that he saw you?
He seemed to glance at me.
That's the answer you're going to get, Counselor.
And I have no further questions.
Can you step down? The plaintiff, I believe, has a second witness in this matter. Please call your next witness.
I call to the stand Sylvia Lubitz.
Is Sylvia Lubitz in the courtroom?
Yes.
raise your right hand, Mrs. Lubitz. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give in this matter at the All Children's Foundation Civil Court heard on the 11th of December in the year 2011 is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name.
May it please the court.
Proceed.
Please state your name for the court.
Sylvia Lubitz.
Mrs. Lubitz, what is your relationship to the plaintiff, Judith Lubitz?
I am her mother.
Where were you on the afternoon that Judith was injured?
I was at home with my daughter.
Where were you when Judith went to call for Jimmy Wells?
I was at the window overlooking the Wells property to watch her walk over.
Mrs. Lubitz, can you tell the court what you saw from your window that overlooked the Wells property?
I saw the Wells kid swing a golf club as Judy walked over to him and it struck Judy in the face.
Mrs. Lubitz, did you get a good look at what happened from your position looking out your window into the Wells backyard?
Yes, I could clearly see. Our houses are only 20 feet apart.
What did you do after you saw Jimmy Wells strike Judith with the golf club?
I raced over to Judy Lubitz.
Mrs. Lubitz, I know this must be difficult for you to talk about, but please tell the court what you saw when you reached Judith.
I found Judy face down in the mud with blood all over her face.
Did someone call an ambulance?
An ambulance came, but I was so worried that I didn't know who called it.
Mrs. Lubitz, can you tell the court what condition your daughter was in when she arrived at Southside Hospital?
Judy was unconscious for over 3 hours. She was in severe pain and her 3 front teeth were missing.
For how long was Judith in Southside Hospital?
She was in the hospital for a week.
Mrs. Lubitz, do you know how much the medical bill came to?
It was $15,000 to wire her jaw and replace her favorite teeth.
Are you seeking punitive damages against the Wells family?
Yes.
How much in punitive damages are you asking for?
I am seeking $45,000 in punitive damages.
Is there anything else that you want to tell this court?
Why was Jimmy Wells Jr. playing golf in his backyard anyway? There are many golf courses in the neighborhood.
Mrs. Lubitz, is there anything further you want this court to know?
Why did Mr. Wells leave his golf clubs lying around? I did not hear any warning coming from Jimmy Wells, and our houses are only 20 feet apart.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination of Mrs. Lubitz. Just watch your feet there.
May I inquire?
You may proceed.
You were looking out the window overlooking the Wells property the day in question, weren't you?
Yes.
You saw Judy cross property lines and go into the Wells property that day. Is that
Yes.
correct? You didn't tell Judy to go and ring the doorbell, did you?
No.
You saw Jimmy Wells playing golf as Judy crossed into their yard. Is that a fact?
Yes.
And you didn't warn Judy that Jimmy was playing golf, right?
No.
So, today you're asking for money, right?
Yes.
And if you win that case, Mrs. Lubitz, the money is going to you, right?
Not really. The money is for if she needs surgery down the road, and if her teeth don't fit properly, we still need to fix those. So it's not for me to keep.
But the compensatory damages cover them. The punitive damages are yours to keep, right?
No, the punitive damages are for if there's surgeries down the road.
But surely surgery is not going to cost all that much. So you're going to keep the rest of the money. Is that right?
I don't know what the surgeries are going to cost.
But you're not going to give the money to your 9-year-old daughter, right? You're going to control what happens to her.
If there's money left over, I'm not sure.
But you're not going to give it to your 9-year-old daughter to spend on whatever she wants. We are going to control what happens to her. Right?
Yes.
Now, let's get back to what you heard and saw that day. Now, you didn't hear anything except for the sound of the 7-iron as it smashed into Judy's face. Is that a fact?
Yes.
So, you admit that you didn't hear your daughter say anything to Jimmy. Is that right?
Yes.
What you're saying is that you didn't hear Judy say hello to Jimmy. Is that a fact?
Yes.
And you never heard Judy ask Jimmy what he wanted to do that day. Is that right?
I guess so.
all your windows were open, and yet you didn't hear anything your daughter claimed to have said. Is that right?
I didn't say anything about windows open.
In your affidavit, you stated that our houses are just 20 feet apart and all the windows were open. So, which one is the truth? The windows are open or they're not? Okay. So, thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Read the record.